When two people first fall in love, everything feels effortless. There's a spark in every glance, a rush in every touch, a quiet magic in every shared moment. But then, life happens. The honeymoon phase gives way to routines, responsibilities, and sometimes, exhaustion. The relationship that once felt like a love story now has diapers, deadlines, and dishes stacked in between the moments that used to belong only to the two of you. So many couples wonder, what happened to the romance? Where did that closeness go? Can we ever bring it back? Reigniting romance after having kids isn't just about trying to relive the past. It's about rediscovering connection in a new season of life. Parenthood changes everything. Your time, your priorities, your sleep, and even your sense of self. Yet, it doesn't mean love has to fade. It simply means love has to evolve. The fire that once burned with spontaneity can burn just as bright with intention if both people choose to keep tending it. When a child enters your life, your focus shifts almost entirely toward them. You become caregivers, protectors, providers, and often you forget to be lovers. You start speaking mostly about logistics. Who's picking up who? What's for dinner? How much the baby slept last night? Slowly, the emotional and physical intimacy that once defined your relationship starts to take a back seat. It's not because the love is gone, but because it's buried under layers of fatigue and responsibility, and if you don't make time to uncover it, it stays hidden. But here's the beautiful truth. Romance doesn't die when you have kids. It simply changes form. It becomes quieter, softer, sometimes subtler, but it's still there, waiting to be noticed. A gentle touch on the shoulder while passing in the kitchen, a small smile shared across a messy living room, a whispered thank you after a long day. These moments might seem small, but they're what keep the connection alive when everything else feels chaotic. Think about this. When was the last time you looked at your partner not as the co-parent, but as the person you once fell in love with? When was the last time you touched them without an agenda, kissed them without distraction, or just sat together without talking about the kids, the bills, or the chores? Those little acts of presence, of truly seeing each other, are the seeds of romance. And if you plant them consistently, love begins to grow again, even in the busiest soil. Parenthood often brings out new sides of both partners. You see each other in roles you never imagined before, nurturing, protective, sometimes stressed or overwhelmed. It can be easy to lose attraction in the fog of fatigue, but sometimes the key to reigniting passion lies in shifting your perspective. When you look at your partner caring for your child, you're witnessing a form of love in action. And love, in any form, is beautiful. Appreciating that can rekindle a deep emotional connection, which in turn fuels physical closeness. Another important part of rediscovering romance is rebuilding time, intentional time for the two of you. It's not about expensive dates or elaborate trips. It's about quality over quantity. 10 minutes of undistracted attention can sometimes do more for your relationship than an entire weekend getaway filled with interruptions. Maybe it's sharing coffee before the kids wake up, or sitting outside together after they're asleep, or leaving little notes of appreciation where your partner will find them. These moments tell your partner, I still see you, you still matter to me, and that simple message can reignite something powerful. Of course, guilt often gets in the way. Many parents feel like spending time on their relationship is selfish, like every spare minute should go to their kids. But think about it. What better gift can you give your children than showing them what real love looks like? When they see affection, respect, and connection between their parents, they learn about emotional security. They see what partnership truly means. So, when you invest in your relationship, you're not taking away from your family, you're strengthening it. There's also the matter of communication. Parenthood can amplify differences. One partner might crave closeness while the other craves rest. One might feel unseen, the other overwhelmed. Without honest communication, resentment quietly builds. So, talk, not just about the chores, but about the emotions, about how tired you are, how much you miss each other, what you wish could change. Vulnerability is the oxygen that keeps intimacy alive. When you open up and say, I miss us, it's not weakness, it's a bridge back to connection. And then there's the physical side of love. After kids, many couples struggle with intimacy. Bodies change, energy levels drop, and sometimes emotional exhaustion makes physical closeness feel like another task on the to-do list. But intimacy isn't just about sex. It's about touch, comfort, warmth, and presence. Even something as small as holding hands, hugging longer, or cuddling before bed can slowly rebuild that physical connection. When you touch, your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which helps reduce stress and deepen emotional trust. So every small act of touch matters more than you might think. Romance also thrives on novelty, on breaking patterns. Parenthood can make life feel like one long routine. You wake up, rush, care, repeat. But if you can inject just a little bit of novelty, something new, unexpected, or playful, it can reignite the chemistry between you. Surprise your partner with a text during the day that says, "I can't wait to see you tonight." Try cooking together instead of dividing chores. Dance in the kitchen after the kids are asleep. These small moments of spontaneity remind your nervous systems what excitement feels like again. It's also worth talking about emotional bandwidth. Many people underestimate how much mental load affects romance. If one partner is carrying most of the invisible work, the scheduling, the remembering, the worrying, they'll likely struggle to feel romantic. Balance and empathy are essential here. When you share the load, you create room for emotional energy to return. And where emotional energy flows, intimacy follows. Something else that often fades after kids is curiosity. When you first met, you asked questions, shared dreams, and listened closely. But after years together, it's easy to assume you already know everything about your partner. The truth is, you don't. People are always evolving. The person you're with today has new fears, hopes, and thoughts that didn't exist before. Reigniting curiosity, asking about their inner world again, can rekindle emotional closeness in surprising ways. Sometimes asking what's been on your mind lately can open a door that's been closed for years. And let's not forget humor. Parenting can be messy, chaotic, and unpredictable, but laughter can turn even the hardest moments into connection. When you can laugh together, even at the exhaustion, even at the mess, you create moments of joy that strengthen your bond. Humor is a pressure release valve for stress. It reminds you that you're on the same team, facing life together, not against each other. There's also something deeply powerful about empathy. When your partner seems distant, it's easy to take it personally, but often they're just tired or stretched thin. Taking a moment to say, "I know you're doing your best and I appreciate you," can melt tension instantly. Compassion is one of the most underrated forms of romance. When you treat each other gently, even in hard times, love becomes safer, softer, and more enduring. Sometimes reigniting romance means letting go of perfection. Many parents think they'll reconnect once everything settles down, when the kids are older, when life is less busy. But love doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It thrives when you make space for it, right in the middle of the mess. The toys on the floor, the laundry pile, the half-eaten dinner, they don't cancel out romance. They're part of your shared story. Finding beauty in the imperfect moments. That's where deep love lives. You can also reignite romance through gratitude. Over time, partners often stop noticing what each other does. But gratitude brings awareness back. Saying, "Thank you for taking care of that," or "I really appreciate how hard you work," can make your partner feel valued again. And when people feel seen, they naturally want to give more love in return. Gratitude turns routine into affection, and obligation into connection. Let's also talk about self-care. Many people forget that a thriving relationship starts with two individuals who feel alive within themselves. If you're constantly depleted, it's hard to show up with energy or affection. So taking care of your own well-being, sleep, exercise, hobbies, friendships, isn't selfish. It's a way of protecting the energy that fuels your love. When you feel good in your own skin, you bring that light into the relationship. And here's something that might surprise you. Romance isn't about grand gestures. It's about emotional attunement. When you sense your partner's needs and respond with care, you build trust. When you share your feelings honestly, you build intimacy. Over time, those small, consistent moments of understanding become the foundation for lasting love. The spark you're looking for isn't gone. It's just waiting beneath the surface, ready to be reawakened through kindness and attention. It's also vital to forgive, not just the big things, but the small daily frustrations. Parenthood often magnifies imperfections. You'll both say things you don't mean, forget things, lose patience. But choosing forgiveness again and again keeps your hearts open. Resentment is a spark killer. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is fuel for intimacy. It says, "I choose love, even when it's hard." That's one of the most romantic things you can ever say without words. Over the years, your relationship will continue to change. The kind of passion you had in the beginning might not return in exactly the same way, but what grows instead is something deeper, a calm, steady fire, one that warms rather than burns, one that gives comfort rather than chaos, one that reminds you both that love is not just a feeling, it's a daily act of choosing again and again. And maybe that's the heart of it all. Romance after kids isn't about chasing old feelings. It's about creating new meaning. It's about realizing that every phase of love has its own kind of beauty. The thrill of the beginning, the deep bond of partnership, the shared pride of raising a family, they're all part of the same story. The spark changes shape, but it never really disappears. As long as you keep reaching for each other, even when life pulls you in every direction. So maybe tonight, after the house is quiet and the lights are low, sit with your partner. Look at them. Really look. Remember how it all began. The laughter, the nerves, the way their eyes made you feel seen. And then remember everything you've been through since. The struggles, the milestones, the moments that tested your love but didn't break it. That's not just romance. That's history. That's real intimacy. And maybe, as you sit there, you'll realize that romance isn't something you need to find again. It's something you build, moment by moment, touch by touch, word by word. It's not about going back. It's about moving forward together, with more understanding, more compassion, and more love than before. So ask yourself this: when was the last time you made your partner feel truly loved, not just cared for, but cherished? When was the last time you told them how much you still choose them, even in this busy, beautiful, messy life? And maybe more importantly, what would your relationship feel like if, starting today, you both decided to bring romance back, not as a memory, but as a daily practice? Because love, real love, doesn't fade with time. It deepens, it transforms, and sometimes it just needs a little spark to remember how bright it can shine.